Yeah. So where were we? Yeah. So then, so first technical part is how we are going to implement Adobe Target. So before that, there are other many optimization tool available in the market, such as Optimizely and Google Optimize. So what are the benefits of choosing Adobe Target? What are the capabilities that only Adobe Target have right now in the market, and what are the other advantages Adobe Target has over other tools? So we are going to discuss that. So afterwards, so afterwards we are going to discuss the implementation part. So first we are going to discuss the whole architecture of the Adobe Target, how it shows the UI to the user, how it select the audience, and how it deliver the content to the user. So just the overall architecture of the website. Then we will discuss how we are going to implement Adobe Target on those platforms. So as I mentioned, there are many platforms these days, such as website, app. App would be hybrid or native app, and then there are AMP pages, PW platform. There are many platforms. TV on the TV also we can use Adobe Target. So on what platform and what method we are going to implement Adobe Target. So basically there are two methods, server side and client side. So we will discuss what are the methods we are going to use for what platforms. Then the next part
All
is
right.
specifically what the standard process there are to implement Adobe Targets. So as you must be aware, there are many tag management solutions available in the market, such as Adobe DTM, Adobe Launch, TLM, and else. So usually the Adobe Target is implemented with them. So how we are going to use Adobe DTM and Launch and then implement Target without Tag Manager? How we're going to implement, and how with the help of API we can implement Target? So there are many methods available which we can use to implement Adobe Target. So we are going to discuss those methods. So there are many pros and cons and hacks available for each method. So we will go in detail with this. So basically there are few methods available for implementing Adobe Target. So, okay, so afterwards the next step is we have implemented the Adobe Target over our platforms. Now we have to create activity or UI that we need to show to the user, to the audience, to particular audience we want to content deliver. So basically
Hmm.
that will be a walkthrough of Adobe Target UI. So all those options are available in the Adobe Target, and how we are going to leverage them and create the activity. So basically that is covered in that is divided in three parts. First is where the active code is put, then where we're going to select the audience to whom we want to show the content, and then what are the success matrices, which what are the KPIs which we need to measure for the activity. Afterwards we can tell okay, we have achieved these matrices, so this activity or this use case is successful for us or not. So these are three parts: activity, audience, and goal and matrices. We will go through those, and then we will, and the other alternatives there are in the tool that we can leverage. So we will discuss that. So these three part: activity, exact audiences, and objectives. So these three parts basically covers the whole target UI. Okay, so there are many ways of, there are many options available to create your activity. So by option I mean you want to create AB, you want to create experience. So these are some technical terms. So which method you have to use for particular use cases, and why we should use those methods to create the activity. We will discuss what are the pros and cons and why we should use those methods. So next important part in Adobe Target is uh, reporting part. So we have shown the UI to the user, and now we will collect the data from those activities. Now we have to analyze those data. We have to measure that what are the KPIs or what are the data points over which we will decide that our activity or our use case is successful or not, and how the Adobe Target calculates the data and how it shows the result, what are the algorithms they use. We will discuss about that. Okay, and then next part is, so we have
Right.
created the activity, we have set the data points, or we have decided what we are going to track for those activities. So before we are going live to website or app with those changes, we have to test if our activity is working fine or not. Is it going to create problem over our website or app? So for that, there are many methods to check. So those methods such as preview URLs are available. So we will go through those methods and how and which methods we have to leverage and how we are going to debug the problem. So there are many out of the box methods available in Target to debug those problems, and there are other custom methods which you can use, such as developer tools and other, to find out the problem and resolve it before we go live. So basically,
Okay.
this will sums up the implementation and creation of the activity or the UI which we want to show. Okay, so this will cover all the
Mhm.
implementation, how we create, how we test it, and then we will go live. Then
Okay.
we will
So Pravesh, one thing before we proceed, I wanted to know like how much does it involves coding in this? Because I don't have much experience in coding.
yeah. So there is one part that is known as visual experience composer. Okay, so here what we do is we have to just right click and change the color. We don't have to do any kind of coding. So there are
Right.
both the options available. You
I
can
guess
write your
same as in WordPress we have Visual Composer.
right. It is more simpler even.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so it is more simpler. Just we have to just right click and do the changes. So there are both options available. You can write the code also, or you can just do drag and drop and right click and change color, all this.
Right. Okay.
So basically coding, when one thinks of Adobe targets, the first thing comes in the mind is a coding part, how I'm going to code. That is the last thing. So basically there are the other part which needs to be focused more, that is business side, and what are the checkpoints and what you want to track, to what audience you want to target. So that is a more important part in the target. The code part is just one small part.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are other options available in the Adobe Target. Yeah, so there's another one thing in reporting part, that is A4T. So are you aware of Adobe Analytics?
Uh, I heard about it. I don't have the overview about analytics although.
So it's same as GA, Google Analytics, you must be aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
in Adobe Analytics, all the data of the website or whatever platform you are tracking, all the data comes in. So basically, what are the activity you are
Okay.
doing? What are the experience you're showing to the user? That data you can incorporate in your Adobe Analytics tool, and then you can analyze the data and you can visualize the data, and then you have a whole, idea or picture, like what exactly happening when you are showing the UI to the user. So that is an additional option available in Adobe Target. So we will discuss about that.
Okay.
That there is scene 7 option in Adobe Target. So basically Adobe Target has its own server. So how we can leverage that server, and how we can, so in Adobe Target there is one option that is called profile script. So basically what happens is, for each individual user, it creates a user profile. So what if a user is involved in the activity or not, its data is stored in Adobe Target server. So how we can leverage that data, and how we can show the personalized experience to the user. So that is done by scene 7. So it is an additional option of Adobe Target. Okay.
Okay.
So, and the last thing is, there are many solutions of Adobe Marketing Cloud. There are many tools, as I mentioned earlier. Adobe Campaign, that is used for sending campaigns. You must be aware of that. Then recently they acquired Marketo. audience manager for filtering out the data user. So how we can leverage those tools, integrate it with Adobe Target, and then use it. So that is a very quite important part of Adobe Target. So as a individual tool, Adobe has its functionalities, but with other tool, how powerful it could be, we are going to discuss that also.
All right.
Yeah. So basically that sums up whole syllabus for Adobe targets. Do you have any query regarding it?
No, not as of yet.